Singapore firms are putting expansion plans on the backbench amid election fever, as uncertainties mount over whether tensions between the US and China will worsen. Analysts say higher tariffs could indirectly raise production costs here, leaving Singapore firms for the worse. Nasyrah Rohim with this report.
While Singapore companies have been largely kept out of the crossfire between US and China, firms in the manufacturing sector are wary of continued protectionist policies from both sides. They warned that these could disrupt supply chains, increase operational costs, and put pressure on Singapore's manufacturing exports.
The semiconductor industry, it may be worthwhile for them to consider manufacturing in the US rather than elsewhere. So they may configure how they invest their funds. So I cannot say all the companies have the same situations, but I think this reconfiguration is causing anxiety in the executives, and I'm sure that they do have to consider all these factors of different new trade barriers that may put up from different parts of the world to protect their economies.
Still, some analysts say that US and Chinese companies may increasingly look to tap Singapore's transshipment hub status.
I think for logistic-wise, we'll see more of the cargo from China and then reapply for the country origin or the FTA agreements before shipping out again to US. So that will see an increase in transshipment volume for Singapore, I think, as a whole.
How this works is that companies manufacture in China before shipping their products to Singapore. Since tariffs are based on where the product comes from for eligible goods, they'll be able to list Singapore as the country of origin. Under current trade pacts, exports from Singapore to US may face lower to no tariffs. Upon reaching US shores, port authorities will then inspect the documents to ensure that due customs, if any, are paid. Should higher tariffs be on the cards, analysts say US companies may stockpile goods in advance. This could spike up shipping costs in the short term.
In the long term, I think it will be lose-lose in the sense that ultimately the global pie of economic activities will shrink. So even if you have a larger share, you have a larger share of a smaller pie. That share might be actually smaller than what was originally before any trade tension and trade limitations between the countries.
Depending on which candidate ends up in the White House, firms say it'll make a difference between scaling up or keeping the status quo.